Good day, viewers. Viewers, you're tuned in to SSM, our Wednesday program. To this minute, we're having a one-on-one discussion with a governor aspirant in South Nigeria. South Nigeria, Edo State precisely. Edo State is having its governorship election for Edo State is coming soon. So today we want to dialogue with one of the party, Accord Party governorship candidates, Dr. Bright Enabulele. Dr. Bright, we hope you're here with us. Sir George, you're welcome. You're tuned in to our one-on-one program with Dr. Bright. Dr. Bright,
yes.
Can you hear
Thank
us?
You.
Yes. You're welcome, George. Dr. Bright,
yes,
can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
See you.
Okay, we can see him now. Yes, we can.
Oh, thank
you.
Well,
good morning,
I think your network needs to be steady.
Okay.
Dr. Bright. Okay, George.
Sure.
Yes.
Dr. Bright is a candidate, is running for the office of governorship in the upcoming Delta Edo State governorship election. Yes. Dr. Bright, can we hear the audio? We need to hear your audio too. Your voice is not audible.
Can you hear me very correctly now?
Now,
yes,
good.
we can.
Now
yes, we can.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, viewers from around the world, we are introducing Dr. Bright Enabulele. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Beautiful.
You're close.
Yeah, Dr. Bright is a dynamic entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and what we call, I don't know if we should call him ex-software engineer because of his, status right now, whose fascination with blockchain ignited in 2010, from the 2010, right. All right? So now, since then, Dr. Enabulele has fervently pursued blockchain technology dedicated to leveraging its benefits for the indigenous communities. That's one thing that I want everybody to pay attention to. He is bringing this technology not just for the elite. He wants it to come down to the indigenous communities so everybody can benefit with his ambassador as an ambassador of wisdom, in this blockchain industry. Dr. Enabulele is on mission for inclusive development and empowerment through blockchain adoption. We want to welcome you today because we know you have a view, your new vision is to become the governor of Edo State under Accord Party. We want to welcome you. Please introduce yourself to everybody so that they can understand where you live, why you want to come to Nigeria to bring your expertise to change the lives of people, just like what you have been doing through the blockchain.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Once again, I'm Dr. Bright Enabulele, the gubernatorial candidate for Accord Party. We are currently in this race, not just to win election, not just to contest election, but to win election. The primary reason is to liberate our people. There's been serious outcry that the people are not actually enjoying true governance, that they need a leader that is not lazy, someone that they can call 24/7. Even though I've been out of the country, but my spirit never left Africa. There's an echoing of change. There's an erosion in the state between the government and the citizens just because they are not satisfied. So we want to make a change. We want to bring a change. And hopefully, September 2024, the government must change hands. And that's why we're on this race today. For me, I want to make sure that everyone is inclusive, but because majority of the time, the minorities are cut off of the race. It becomes a democracy of the field where the minorities don't have a voice.
Oh, damn. Yes. Beautiful introduction, George. Beautiful introduction.
Well, in our case, in our state, it's the opposite. So we are coming here. It's going to be a new era in Edo State. So once again, I'm Dr. Bright Enabulele. I am from Los Angeles, California. I am also the CEO of Odua Blockchain Solution. the creator of the first Pan-African cryptocurrency, Odua coin. Happy that you have me on the call. Thank you.
Thank you. George, do I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead with your question
Good.
first.
All right, Dr. Bright. First of all, I want to congratulate you for winning the Accord gubernatorial ticket.
Yes.
And yes, that's quite an impressive feat. It's not easy. We know you had some contenders with you, but now you'll be going against some more stronger forces. I mean, the other opposition parties, LP, for example, PDP, and all those parties. There are strong forces there too, strong personalities. How are you prepared to face off with these figures in the other party when it comes September 29th?
My state is on a crossroad.
Okay.
That requires serious intervention.
Okay.
And the people currently can agree with me that they don't have solution for it. This is beyond party line. The problem, whether you are APC, Accord, Labour, PDP, the people want true governance. When you grow up in that state, you go to primary school in Edo State, you went to secondary school in that state, provided you have the opportunity to go to a tertiary institution, and you are part of that government, and you see what is going on, that in our state, there is no water, there is no stable energy, electricity. You have been a part of that state for almost a decade. I don't see any reason you should be in that race, because if you are part of that government for a minute, you have worked in the state, you have been part of that city, and you are happy with the situation of the state, and you decide to say, I'm going to be on this ticket, for me, I will not be in that race. It will be a disgrace. I'm not worried about the party. The message is very clear. The people want alternative. They are tired of people alternating power. They want someone that has holistic approach to navigate the complexity of the state. That's why I'm on this race. I'm not on this race just to contest. I'm on this race to transform my state, Edo State, to unify the 18 local governments in my state. There is no segregations of ethnicity, whether you're out, Edo Central, or Edo North. It's a small state of 8,000 square miles, 4.5 million people. It's a colorful state. I think the state, someone that's knowledgeable to govern them at this moment. That's why we're on this race, sir. Thank you.
All right, George.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to set a record straight, because I know maybe you don't want to talk about this, but you are the flag bearer for the Accord Party for the gubernatorial election in Edo State. But if you go to the internet, you begin to see something different. Do you want to talk about that? Because we want to set this record straight right here to ensure
no.
yes.
I am at the moment. I am the gubernatorial candidate of the party. With me and my principal, Comrade Kire, is seated with me. At the time we go on the platform to represent Accord, we have the same vision. There is no problem at all with the party. The key is we are here to win election together, to defend our party, to represent the co-mission. Our manifesto is very simple. We want to resurrect the manifesto of Ambrosali, who is my hero, who was always agitating for education for all, and make sure that there's food for all. So I don't know what's on the internet, but currently we have a joint ticket with my principal. It's also on the call, Comrade Kennedy Yere. I don't know if there's any other things going on, but right now we are focusing on winning election. Thank you.
Beautiful. Now, I wanted to ask you, what do you think your foreign experience can bring to foster economic growth, having been a CEO of this blockchain and what you have done with it so far, and your interest is for the indigenous to enjoy, your expertise. I know you're coming with a wealth of knowledge as an ambassador of wisdom in Edo State. How do you think your experience in North America will differ with the people, local people that are there when it comes to development and raising the people up in Edo State.
Powerful.
Oh, thank you so much. That was a very brilliant question.
Mhm.
The primary purpose of the government is to be able to contain the people, make sure they provide jobs for the people. Current problem right now in Edo State, there's hunger in the state. Uh, it's right now where uh, food is more expensive than housing. So the people cannot buy. For me, we are in the 24th century where innovation is very important. We want to prioritize innovations over ambitions. The people in our state, what is becoming a global village. With your internet, you can tap into major resources all over the world. They need a leader that can bridge that gap. That's where I come in. Blockchain, artificial intelligence will also allow us to fight corruptions within the government, to expand our youth, the mind of our youth. For me, I call it economic emancipation for our youth. The process that we must have a leader that understands that we are in a new era. If you look at our state today, we are not number 10 oil production state. Our revenue
Okay. I think
that has holistic approach,
okay. Right.
that has international experience to create jobs. And I think blockchain is one of the leading areas in technology that can also help us foster agriculture, farming. You see, even in our land, it doesn't just have to be with just technology. It will also eliminate human interference. It will also eliminate corruption in the government. So our youth, this is an opportunity for them, with my experience, to be able to create an environment for them where they can use their knowledge to full potential, be able to have jobs to take care of their family. I want to make sure that my children in my state, the daughters and sons of Edo, they can compete in America, they can compete in Europe, they can compete in China. Because the majority of the times, we are not even in the world, we are not even in the space. We're in 24th century, we're inclusive. 80%, when you look at the mission, it's all about indigenous people. I've traveled all over the world spreading the message that we are in a new era, that the way money moves around the world is different. My principle is very simple. I want to make sure that the people in my state, they have access to good education. Early child education is very important because the leaders of the future tomorrow is how you start in the beginning. Want to make sure there's education for all, at least on the elementary level, because we want to make sure that the family that cannot afford education, their children are not cut off. So for me, the difference is clear. When you look at everyone on this race today, no one has the experience. I'm not talking about academia. When you look at the complexity of the state, it requires someone that has holistic approach, someone that
That's
has true education
That's good.
beyond academia. Beyond academia, you cannot give
Beyond.
what you don't have. You
Beyond.
cannot. Can you hear me?
Very well. Loud
Yes, we
and clear.
can. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
You
ahead.
can.
Wonderful.
You cannot. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot talk about what you have not experienced.
Hmm.
For me, I've seen it all. I've been around the great, the small, the middle, the big. I understand what is missing in my state.
Okay.
My state requires someone, a leader, that is not lazy, that understand that social issues are not luxury but necessity. So that
Mm.
means when the people don't have water, you give them water. When they don't have light, you give them light. When the roads are bad, you face the roads. These are not luxury. These are necessity. We cannot talk
Necessity.
about infrastructure development if we cannot tackle social issues. What is the point? We are playing around. The people are tired. The people understand now that the game is over. You can't force democracy on nobody. Allow the people to make their choice. When you look at the race, everyone on this race, I'll tell you today, no one has the solution to solve the problem of Edo State. They are just going around, around, around because the people, they believe that the people are not aware. We are going to prioritize human rights over civil rights because the people, when you prioritize human rights over civil rights, it allows to expand liberty. So we can hold every everyone accountable to govern correctly. People elect you in those positions, and when you can't deliver, it's also their right to vote you out. You cannot
Yes,
hold the people hostage.
that's true.
Democracy to prevail. That's why we are on this race today. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Let me
As a
take it
man,
from here. Yes,
yes.
thank you. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Bright. You put to rest a question, something that was on the internet, and it's good you said that to about 478 people watching us right now. Real time, 488 people, and the number grows also with time. Now, my question is because we've checked on we did some of your background check, and we saw some very impressive feats you have done. You were in a summit with Dr. Arikana, and it was at the Ubuntu summit in Jamaica. And in fact, you just said
Yes.
the question I was going to put to you. One problem we have in Africa, like Edo State, is there are more indigenous people that can't grasp this technology thing, So I want to put it, I want you to elaborate more. How do you carry the less, those that are still coming up in life, trying to get into this technological space of life? How do you carry them along? How do they come along in this whole development?
Well, primarily the reason I was in Jamaica, I'm a Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
My goal is to bridge the gap between our brothers and sisters that was formerly enslaved and connect them to the motherland. I believe only the diaspora has the solution to Africa. And the question is Africa ready for the diaspora? There's an outcry that for me, I'm on this race to make my state a diaspora state. Because after 400 years, DNA has memories. Those in diasporas have collective ideas, brain bank that can be very, very strategic in improving our land. My 100 days in the office, I'm going to open it up my state to the diaspora collectively so we can rebuke it. This is not going to be about brain drain. It's all about brain bank. We have collective ideas all over the world. The Jamaicans, the Caribbeans, I want to be able to bridge the gap between the Atlantic. Atlantic is a very big business. This transatlantic trade, where that business has been stopped. Nobody's talking about it. I want to make sure my state becomes number one, where we can ship our cocoa, our rubber, our timber to our brothers and sisters on the other part of the continent, because we want to work together. We want to bring them back home to our land, because this is their ancestral motherland. We want to make sure that they're inclusive in our government. We want to make sure that we create a space for them, for that to thrive. Just imagine if we can fight for civil liberty in America. For 400 years, we're the first to produce a black thing is going to happen in Edo when we have our brothers and sisters all over the world from the diaspora come and resettle in our land. There's going to be a big progress in our state. That's what we are fighting for. That's why I was with Dr. Arikana Kwo on that journey to say, hey, let's come together. When you look at it, 54 nations in AU, the problems are the same. We don't understand the meaning of rule of law. We don't understand the meaning of true governance. The people are complaining. The government just neglect them because they believe that is a democracy for the few. We are going to run a democracy of the popular. We are telling them it's time to give power back to the people. Allow the people to have a voice. That's what democracy is all about. If you cannot solve their problem, don't leave the problem with them. You can go away. Allow someone that can solve the problem. Allow the knowledgeable to rule. That's what we are fighting for. It's hard time in our state. Edo State is a kingdom. Don't forget. It's a former province, the Midwest Nigeria. For the past 2 decades, since the inception of modern democracy, our development has been stagnant. I am not running the politics of retributions or redress. I am not complaining about the past government. I don't care about the previous government, because they only give you what they know. You cannot force someone to give you what they don't have. I want to thank them for what they have done so far, but the people are not happy now. It's time the government must change hands. That's why we're on this race accord. We are not coming here just because we want to take power. We are coming here fully to liberate our people, period. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. Okay. As I'm looking at you and I'm hearing your answers and I'm getting very excited, right? Personally.
Yes.
Because, I'm a diasporian too, and I've lived outside of Nigeria for many years, and I know exactly what is going on. when, because of the economic chaos that we have in Nigeria, people like you are being called by the president to find solutions to the economic woes of Nigeria. Now you are coming in as a creator of Odua coin. How do you plan to integrate technology and innovation into the governance in Edo State? You mentioned that a few minutes ago in passing, but I want you to delve into it right now so people will understand and see your vision,
Yes, I can hear
how
you
you
now.
can combine what you have
The
done.
network went on for
Yes, please. Can you, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Let me tell you, the problem of our continent is very simple. Capitalisms are built on the private sector, not on the public sector. When you look at our country favors capitalism. But the problem is the
We can hear you.
The audio is seasoned.
The audio is seasoned.
Yeah, Dr. Bright. No, your visual is
Your
good.
visual is good.
The audio.
The audio. We can hear you.
Okay, I think he'll be back. Okay.
Your video is frozen also.
Yeah, the video is okay. George, Dr. Bright sounds very, very knowledgeable about what he's coming to do, and he also he looks very passionate about coming in to Edo as the governor. But you think there'll be challenges? Do you think there'll be challenges?
Well, there are always challenges when
Okay.
solutions are coming. Our people they want change, but how to
Yes.
embrace that change has become a difficult issue, in the life of many. So, a man of that has such wealth of wisdom and technological knowledge, who can change the narratives in our country. The point is, how is he going to be able? Because there are going to be challenges. The status quo is there. The people that are there already who do not want to give up, the government. Now we're talking about, he's from the south. That's what I wanted to ask him later on, because the main problem right now with the governorship of Edo State is because Obaseki is from the north, and he wants a southerner to take over, and that's why he's fighting with his deputy. So now, which is also a very good idea, but are we going to now die because if people from the south, you don't have anybody that is knowledgeable like Dr. Bright right now, who is running for that under their own okay, beautiful, we're back. So anyway, Dr. Bright, thank you so much. You were saying something. Go ahead and continue, please.
Well, when you look at the continent across the 54 nations, the problems are the same. The diaspora, back in the days, we don't care about issues of our states, but you can hear the echoing that the diaspora want to resettle back home. So they are looking for a leader that can lay the foundations of that gap. Change is constant. No one can deny change. Change is something that is transformational. Change can go two ways. Change can be, if you don't have the right knowledge, change can be very destructive. We have looked at how our states are stagnant for the past 20 years. Does it mean there's no change? Is that change progressive? It's not a progressive change. Even when our state was number one, when Nigeria was number one oil production state 20 years ago, there was no development in our state. Now we have moved from oil to green energy. How do you think we're going to have revenue to do all these infrastructures? We need someone that has an holistic approach, the one that has international relationship, that can work around the world today and understand the needs of the people. The people need that change. When we say the people are not ready, they are ready. The question is, they don't have someone that can foster that change. And I think we are in the right position. The people should understand this is not about party now. The state is so much in a crossroad that we must think beyond the party line. Our people, our children, there's no fundamental health care. Our pensioners don't get their pensions on time. There's mismanagement of funds, wasteful resources. It's the outcry is outrageous. We must stop the bleeding. We must stop the bleeding. And it's very simple. The philosophy here is allow the knowledgeable to rule. Democracy gives you that platform. You cannot talk about civil rights if you neglect human rights. For me, it's very simple. We need leaders that have full sense of humanity, that understand that the people, the needs of the people. It's not hard. Governance is not hard. It's not about position. But the question here in our land is that they know the truth. But the question is, they just want to run the government of the few. And now, when you understand that when you force government into the people too much, there's going to be anarchy. There's going to be insecurity in the state. And that's what's going on right now. The present government are so confused. They have no solution. But I want to thank them so much for what they have done so far, because democracy is still new in Nigeria. Even in America, we're still struggling with democracy. But the question is, you cannot talk about democracy if you don't enforce the rule of law. And that's what's missing in our land. That he that creates the law, he that enforces the law, he that interprets the law must obey the law. Very simple.
Very simple.
In our platform, our number one rule is we cannot talk about human developments or economic developments or social issues where we neglect the rule of law. It's not going to work. It's not possible. My government, first, we have to reestablish rule of law. We have to protect the life of our people. We have to make our state attractive to foreign investment. You look at Dubai today. Dubai is only 10 years old. It's not because Dubai is so beautiful, because they allow the security of the state to be stable. That allows international development. Now everybody want to go to Dubai. Even in my state, people are running to Ghana. They are running to Cameroon. They are running to South Africa. They are running to why? Because there's no infrastructure that allow the people to stay. There's forced labor in the state. There's vast majority of immigration. We want to stop that. We want to make sure there's diaspora immigration back in our state. We have lands that has not been cultivated. Agriculture is our number one priority. It's our source of life. It's our gift. We must expand it. We must make sure that there's food for all. Even if we cannot, people don't have jobs, the government must look at public services. Give access to the people who cannot afford meal. At least every month, give them one bag of gari. They will be quiet because people are no crime just because they want to feed their family. It's not because everybody wants to be a criminal. If you don't understand that the people are hungry, then you are not ready to rule the people. There's hunger in the state. 32 million people in our country are hungry right now. Nobody's talking about it. We are going to Ukraine, where there's war, to bring food to our country. It's not possible. We must use back our knowledge. We must have wisdom. Our people perish because they lack that wisdom. I'm not saying they are not intelligent, but just understand that the colonial education has destroyed our land, where we think because we are doctors, we are engineers, that we have the right leadership. Wrong. We need someone that has true education, someone that has holistic approach beyond the classroom, that has divine wisdom to navigate the people, the complexity of the state. That's why Dr. Enabulele is on this race. And the people are aware that when we take over power in September, it's going to be a new era in our state. And I'm telling you today, it is now or never. The government must change hands. And it's awakening. It's going to be one of the peaceful transition in the history of democracy, because the government themselves are solutions. We will work. It's going to be beyond bipartisan, because we have to come together as people. We are not going to divide our state like Bender State. Now we become like a minority. We're going to bring everybody together, whether you're from Edo Central or Edo North or Edo South. It's one Edo. It's a colorful. We're going to expand on tourism. Our state is very colorful. We have people from the Esan, Edo South, Edo North. We bring them together. We bring back the monarchy. The monarchy alone is older than Nigeria. We are bigger than China. My goal is to make sure that there's corruption in the state government can expand tourism.
Dr. Bright, you sound very passionate, and believe me, you are a good salesman. You've gotten us so.
No.
I'm so excited. I wish right about now that I'm also an Edolite, and come and enjoy this beautiful government. Is that not so, George?
Amazing. Your enthusiasm is so contagious. I'm getting excited. My blood. I haven't taken my coffee now, but I don't need it listening to you. I'm very, very excited this morning.
Dr. Bright, let me go with my last question before George takes it up. Now also there is your focal points are what we have on the screen there. He said, "Let the people lead." That's a beautiful theme. He said, "For robust representation, empowerment of the youth, skill acquisition for men and women." Now that's where I want to come in. Skill acquisition. You talked about bringing all these ideas, but when people are not endowed with skills, when people don't have how to do things, the world now is no more about, like you said, it's no more about the academia. It's more on what can you do with your hands, with your brain, you know? And that's where what we're seeing with China doing all over the world, what we're seeing with some of these countries. India, for example, is holding the tech world because they have the skills. So Edo, now this is my question, Dr. Bright. Edo has skills. Edo artifacts, remember, those beautiful bronze head and everything, where in fact the white man till today is fascinated with the skill behind the artistry behind those sculptures. So how do we bring back the skillful Edo people? Edo people are skillful. That it's no, you don't argue of that. You don't, no gainsaying. How do we bring it back? Because somehow they are losing it. I mean, people are now looking towards something else. But those skills are what makes the Edo people great. You talked of the kingdom. You talked of the Oba's palace and all these things. And these things have been before a lot of countries today. So we need to go back to skill building the Edo people, bringing back those artistry, craftsmen and all that. So how do you want to do this with this skill acquisition for men and women as part of your logo?
Thank you very much. First of all, it's all about reform. We have to look at our education reform. We have to reform our education system from the early child education. Whatever you have today in our system is the process that we took over from the early child education.
Okay.
Most of the corruptions you see today in our state are corruptions that you see happens from the early childhood. We went back to holistic approach in education. For example, you look at Germany, you look at China, those areas that you talked about, there was no China 20 years ago. I remember when America to say, hey, we want some funds. The president of America told China, said, look, your population is too much. How are we going to survive? We're only less than 200 million. You're almost a billion population. China went back and closed the door. At those states, we have to press the reset button. Boom. After everything starts, you see, we cannot hang on the branches too much. When you hang on the branch, you're going to fall. We have to build back from the root. Most of our leaders, the problem is they are not selfless. They are worried about what am I going to gain now. We have to set up a pathway for generations to come. I might not be able to finish everything, but when we take over power and transition happens, the new government, we have a platform to thrive. You see, change is something that is not going to happen overnight. But when you lay good foundations on the grassroots level, the people will embrace it. We have to reform our education. We have to look at our burns. We have to look at, if you look at this that's happening in Nigeria today, there's no recycling. We have vehicles coming from overseas. People are dumping this in our country. And then what happened? We have wasteful products in our state. There's no recycling. My government want to focus on recycling of waste to energy, okay? Where we can take things sustainable. When things are sustainable, when things are reusable, it's cost effective. The problem is we build all the system, we can't maintain them because we don't have process in place to make things sustainable. So in our education system, we have to start looking at trade tech, the hairdressers, the mechanics, the painters. Those middle class are very important. Everybody cannot be a doctor. Everybody cannot be an engineer. Everybody cannot be a lawyer. When you look at the middle class today, there is a very big disparities in that gap where most of the programs in our state, they are not certified. We're going to start looking at trade techs. Change, reform to our education system that if you finish your high school, you cannot go to higher institutions. There should be a program, a certification programs that will allow you to make sure when it comes to security guards, when it comes to recycling products, things that people are needed. I keep using the word holistic. In a whole, we cannot go and imitate Germany when we are not in Germany. We cannot go and imitate China when we're not in China. We have to look at things that works for us. We have to look at herbalisms. We have to look at our medicines. Just listen, God has blessed our continent But I'll tell you one thing, 75% of our continent are not cultivated because we are looking beyond ourselves. We are trying to be what we are not. We have to go back to the grassroots level. How does that happen? We start with job creation. It's the fundamental right of the people. And it's also the right and the duty of the government to provide jobs. If you cannot create jobs in Edo State right now, there's no jobs. That's why politics looks like a business. People look at politics as a business, as their source of income. They are ready to sell their voters card just because they want to survive. If we can be able to create jobs that put money in their pocket, look at India. Indians are doing what they call VA, virtual assistants. I want to be able to make sure that my people can be able to work from their home and be able to create jobs and work for people in America and get that money. We're going to make sure that we upset China and Bangladesh. Right now, they're doing what they call visual assistants all over the place. I want to make sure that in my state, we bring what they call artificial intelligence, where a son and a child, a daughter in my state, can be able to work for someone in Silicon Valley without traveling to anywhere in America. That is the change we are looking for. We must give them that education that allow them to have the ethics to work in America, to work in foreign countries without traveling. That's what they call transformation.
Okay, Dr. Bright, we have calls coming in.
Yes.
So many calls that have been coming in. They were even calling your phone too. But let's take the call from my end. Let's take the call from my end. I had to stop the call because we wanted you to talk. So we have like 5 calls that have been calling. This is from Nigeria with the number that ends with 2775.
Okay.
Yes, caller, we are calling you now. Okay, George, go ahead with your questions before the caller comes in.
Okay, so my final question is this, Dr. Bright. We know already that what has been happening in Nigeria in regards to corruption. We know that a lot of people, when they are caught stealing or whatever the case might be, the news is like, 2 weeks and then it dies off. Nobody knows what happens. No. So what strategies do you have in place to ensure transparency and accountability if elected in your government in Edo State?
Okay. There are federal jurisdictions. There are things that the federal government has power to do. There are also has power. Especially when we talk about police reform. This belongs to the federal government.
Okay, sorry. Yes, caller. Yes, we can hear you. You're on to one-on-one discussion with Dr. Bright, the Accord Party governorship candidate for Edo State, Nigeria. Yes, what's your question, please?
My name is Bob Manuel Umoru. I'm Jesus Army, and I appreciate the gubernatorial candidate for taking his time, and I appreciate this media for doing a very great job on Edo State. But first, before I ask my question, I want to make a correction. While you were on, you said Obaseki is from Edo North. No, Obaseki is from Edo South. Shaibu is from Edo North. My question then is to Dr. Bright Enabulele, a very sound aspirant or candidate, one that I've not seen in a long time in our political space. I listened to him and my heart was melted with heavy emotions. Today, Edo State is faced with security challenges. Poverty is on the increase than ever before. The government of the day has never been this rich, and I'll tell you the truth, the people of Edo State have never been this poor, have never had so much sleepless nights, so much misfortune as such that has been seen in the past 8 years. Sir, what would you do to address the security challenges facing Edo people? Days ago, one of the prominent politicians was kidnapped. Members of my families were kidnapped years ago, even up to 2 years ago. I faced that, and it's a heavy nightmare when you have your family being kidnapped. And 2 years ago, billions of naira were released for agricultural intervention by CBN. And the present state government told the world that Edo State has rice farm in Sobe. I traveled to Sobe by myself on my expenses to discover that it was all scam. What are you going to do differently to ensure that the people of Edo State can sleep at least 4 hours a day, not turning to watch nights in their own land? What would you also do to bring food security to their table? What will you do to ameliorate the pains of these people? I tell you, every Edo citizen today, except those who are in the corridor of stealing the money, every Edo citizen heart is bleeding, whether at home or abroad. Doctor, sir, what are you going to do to ensure that Edo is safe for all?
Thank you very much, Jesus Army. Powerful, very direct questions.
Beautiful.
All right, Doctor.
Beautiful.
First of all, we have to find a way to stop the bleeding. Why in the state? It's hardship. When you see a little boy goes to the market to steal food, it's not because he want to be a thief. He just want to survive. His family is dying. When you look at our state today, there's no food storage. If there's war today, we don't have food storage that will take care of the people for 24 hours. And we have this agriculture of big lands. I cannot be talking about security when we don't talk about stability. We have to look at cause of problems. Why is there erosion in the state between the citizens and the government? It's because the governments don't understand that they have to create jobs. They have to have social service for the people to make sure that at least those that cannot afford, at least there's something in America. You see, when you look, let's talk about Western world a little bit. Not everybody has a job, but the primary thing the government do in America is to make sure that those that are not able, that there's something for them. There's a welfare for them. We have resources. Most those wasteful resources, we can convert them to welfare. At least the family can be able to afford, government can be able to say, you know what, every family this and that, we can be able to look at their system. First of all, we have to have a data center that shows who is our state. We have to have collective ideas of bringing them together. We have to go back to farming. We have to have a food bank where the farmers sell directly to the government, where then we can now start looking at full subsidies, where the government can say, okay, you know what, we want to encourage farming. If a farmer knows that every time they bring their cassava, there's money for them, everybody's going to rush to farm. And let me tell you one thing, any family that can afford 3 square meal, listen, they have no business in corruption. They have no business in stealing. They have no business in kidnapping anybody. 80% of this that you're seeing in the state today is because of hunger. So we must stop the bleeding first. We must look for a holistic approach and say, you know what? The people are doing these things because they want someone that will put money in their pocket. At least if they don't have a job, they need a government that understand that prioritize their human needs over their own private pocket. 80% of our resources, wasteful spending. 80%. And are you complaining that there's erosion in the state? Of course there will be. I mean, we're surprised that the state is still alive. It's almost close to anarchy. Because every home, you have what? Borehole. Every home, you have generator. Then people say, why do I even need the government? You can't give me clean water. Our children are dying of cholera. Children under 5, 14,000 every year, cholera. Why? We are in Atlantic. You keep the pipe. When a country in the desert, Dubai, they have water. What is the problem that we have in our country? Is it just because we want to be wicked? Or because we think that the life belongs to us? You know, I am telling them, anybody that don't want progress in my state, we not only have problem with God, we also have problem with the kingdom. Because it's time. I see this gentleman crying and saying, hey, what are we going to do? First and foremost, we have to establish rule of law. The people that protect the citizens. You see, when we don't understand the meaning of equality, when we don't understand that no one is above the law, our justice system is broken. Our law enforcement, most of the resources that are supposed to go to the state, when the police are taking bribe every day, what do you expect to happen? The police don't have what they call police estate, where they can sit down and say, you know what, I can be able to take up my family. We have to make it attractive for our law enforcement to do their job correctly. If a policeman is doing his job correctly and is getting the right payment, why is it going to be corrupt? You look at our state, you look at foreign world, you don't see no matter what you are trying to do. It's very hard to tell. Most of the time we travel overseas, we go to the airport. When immigration is coming to us, we ask them, oh, God, they say, no, we are doing our jobs. But in our state, the next thing, what do you have for me? Why? Because the government has not provision to take off our law enforcement. If the law enforcement system is broken, we can talk all we want. Because the man that's enforcing the law for us is corrupt. What is our we must be established. That's what I'm telling you. When the colonial master gave us democracy, they didn't emphasize so it's like the entire nation. We are just turning our black side because we pretend we don't know. The Nigerians that I know today, they are fighting for change. Problem is the damage. So we press the risk and say, you know what? I'm not going to run the politics of stress or retribution. I am not blaming Obaseki at all. I am not blaming. I'm not going to blame it. No, they are tired. All we are saying, we must move forward. Allow the government to end so that we can have a qualitative analysis 4 years. So let it rule. We have put a 21-page attractive business plan for my state, but I'm going to keep it very quiet because we are still having opposition in the race. I just what they're trying to. We're going to run a town hall meeting. We're going to run symposium. I want them to come.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Bright. So, Jesus Army, thank you very much for that very that was even very passionate question. Thank you also. You've had his answers, and many people are hearing the governor aspirant speak. Governor, I'm even calling you governor now. Dr. Bright, because you have really captivated us. Yes, you've captivated us with all you've said. We want to say that we are with you on this in this network. Yes, because take note also, one last thing. You have the ratio the federal government brought is there about 23 million Nigerians outside Nigeria. But that ratio is actually lesser. We're about 30 million Nigerians outside Nigeria. And do you know what? Those make the highest of the number in that 30 million outside Nigeria. So what am I saying? How do you engage with those in diaspora to also work with you? Because they can facilitate, they can tell their people back home, look, this is the man for us. So if you don't vote for him, you're not getting the Western Union or something. I mean, how do you work with those in diaspora to see your victory into the house? Thank you.
Once I'm currently right now in Abuja. Once I leave Nigeria now, I'm going to do what they call diaspora campaign. The diasporas they are the only one that can make a change.
Yes.
We're going to make sure they are part of our government. It's very important.
Very important.
They have those revenue they are keeping hiding somewhere. We need them in our streets. Yes. If you're a police officer, back. If you're a doctor, we want the brain bank. We are tired of brain drain.
Yes.
We want to come because government is a collective idea. It's not for one person. You cannot. This is authoritarian where you want to hijack power. It's a government of the people. So if we put our leadership team together correctly, like I said, the diasporas are part. They are going to be inclusive. They're part of. They're going to be integral part of our government. Okay. Number one, because they have been exposed, they have seen everything.
Absolutely.
They want to be able to prepare a way for their retirement. And there's no place to They are the ones sending me and say, doctor, please, go and make a way for us. Because currently right now, we are just having these people that are recycling. One thing I want to say, you cannot give what you don't have.
That's right.
Straight up.
You can't force yourself to the people. You only, the mice only function based on what you see, based on what you hear, based on what you have heard. It's very simple. We have to look at rational way of doing things. We cannot force this to the people. The diasporas are going to be, I told you from the beginning, we are going to foster diaspora immigration. So we can rebuild together. Not just the Nigerians, the Edos, those from the Caribbean, Antigua, Panama. There's a call to the motherland. And we want to make sure that those states is a diaspora state. We're going to take away all the red tapes, allow them to resettle in our state. Let's build our state together. Then we start seeing revenue coming in. When the monies are moving, revenue is moving, there's job creations. You're going to see that we start building our state back again and security is going to be there. If you're happy, you are eating, why you want to go fight somebody? We're going to make sure that there's a that you can't take law into your hands. And I want to stop the bloodshed in our state. You can't just go and fight somebody and break their head. You will put you in jail. Believe me. We want to stop the bleeding. There's going to be rule of law. Number one, you can't take law into your hands. That's why we have those arms of government. The legislative, the judiciaries, and the executive. We must work together. That's what democracy is. You can't separate none of them. You cannot separate them. We have to enforce it again. To say, we prioritize security in our state. We're going to look at reform. When you look at the federal level now, they are fighting for state. My government is going to agitate that because we want to be able to give stipends to our police officers. We want to be able to encourage them to do their work correctly. We want to be able to, if you are a lawyer, I don't want you to be working in the hospital. I want you to do your job correctly. If you're a policeman, I don't want you to be a teacher. I want you to be a policeman. You go to school for a reason. That's what true education is. You cannot, because of saying hardship, where a doctor now is not working in the bank. You see the conflict of interest because we have not laid a correct platform for people to thrive. I want to make sure that we are next food potential. We allow the people of Edo State, newborn babies, children, mothers, there's going to be something for them. We have to protect the mothers. We have to protect our babies. We have to make sure that they have the fundamental health care. Because when the brain is damaged, we're going to have damaged leaders in the future. Early childhood education, that's what Abrusali was talking about. I am a champion of his manifesto, and I'm going to continue this manifesto 41 years ago. And nobody has, the manifesto has been broken of Abrusali. It was one of the governors that I enjoyed. It gave me true education when I was growing up. So I have to continue. And that true education today is what is leading me. Education for all, at least to the elementary level. If we cannot get it to the higher institution, allow people to go to school. Give them the opportunity. Close the gap of disparities between the rich and the poor. Equality for all. Now they are talking about Edo Central, Edo East, Edo South. It's because there is no a true leader that can bring the people together. Edo State is too small to be divided. We have to bring our people. There must be urgent unification of our ethnicity. Whether you are from Afama, Afuse, Onwa, Edo South, Orioma, it's one Edo, for God's sake. Bring all of us together.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. George, we have to go. We used some extra minutes to our time, our schedule. But George, this has been awesome. This has been.
And I'm overwhelmed with excitement, and I want to thank you, Dr. Bright. And I believe that hearing you today, I think we should do this again, simply because success is very, very attractive. And we know that when a man who is an ambassador of wisdom in many areas and have such, robust knowledge and want to come and help their people, we need as many people as possible to hear you, to understand your vision, and to join hands with you to bring Edolites to that paradise where they're supposed to be. I want to thank you, and thank you, viewers, for watching us today. It's been a fantastic one indeed.
Fantastic one indeed. I want to thank Jesus Army Channel. Thank you so much for the encouraging text you're putting in, and the question you asked earlier on. We're with Edo State on this, because one thing about Edo is Edo starts something and it trickles around Nigeria. So your election has always been a focal point of good election in other states in Nigeria, and this is wonderful. So thank you once more, viewers. Thank you, Jesus.
Massive Mark. Jesus Army Channel is he's a fantastic guy, and he loves the channel, and he's saying that this is most organized. I'm very nice this thing. So we want to thank you, Jesus Army. And your question was, touched my heart also. It was so fantastic. Thank you so very much, sir. And Dr. Bright, okay, you're here. So what I was saying actually before your thing went off was like, it's very, very important. Number one, as you are going to the diasporans and talking with them, we need to continue with this. Because what I've heard today, I am telling you, everybody in Edo needs to hear this.
Loud and clear.
They need to hear you loud and clear. Because it's not all about, this is not about you becoming a governor. This is like a vision. This is like, bringing paradise into your own state and changing the lives of people, from what I have heard today. And I want to thank you personally, because of this, I am interested in this blockchain, because I'm going to have to, get in touch with you to get involved in it,
Okay. Thank you.
It's the future of Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what they say. All right, gentlemen. Our candidate, our governor candidate. Thank you very much for coming. You've graced this occasion so beautiful, and comments are flying in. Jesus Army is saying, "Great job, thank you." We have about from all the networks together. We have 1,100 people watching you real time, live, and the numbers will grow also. Hope to see you again on this network. Thank you very much. So we wish you the best. Please watch your safety. Be on the guard. We want to see you be there. We want to also connect you to in the future and all that things too. We wish you the best, sir.
I am just a messenger, and
Yes,
because the ancestors, God is with me, so I'm not worried. I'm a messenger.
Beautiful,
Thank you,
beautiful.
Thank you, George. Thank
Awesome.
you, everybody.
Well,
God bless you. Have a beautiful week.
bye.
Have a beautiful campaign season, sir. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Yes.
Thank you.